Impact investing. What is it? Can profits and purpose really be in harmony together? I thought we just had to like go for profits or go for purpose. Today, I have an amazing guest. Monica is joining me, and we're going to be talking specifically about how to invest with purpose, how to invest and create an impact within a community. There are a lot of different ways that this can be accomplished, but we're going to tackle just one of those ways and just have a thought-provoking conversation to evaluate, like, where is philanthropy when we are investing, and can we have heart and profits at the same time? You're going to love this episode. It is going to be thought-provoking in the most amazing way possible. So I'm confident that you are going to enjoy it. And Monica's enthusiasm is positively contagious. If you have not already hit that subscribe button, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't shared an episode yet, this is definitely an episode that you are going to want to share. All right. I hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Me How I Know. I am so excited to introduce you to one of my friends and a fellow investor that is doing tremendous, amazing work in the investment space. And we'll get into that. But without ado, I just want to say, oh my gosh, Monica, it is an absolute treasure to have you on Ask Me How I Know.
Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And thank you for all the work that you're doing with this platform you created and getting us all out there to talk about everything that we need to know in the investing real estate world, and then even more so what we can chat about today.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to dive on in because Monica and I, we met, and I'm like, oh, she's awesome. But over the last few months, we've gotten to know each other more because we have this common thread that is like just this heartbeat of something very intentional. And it's investing with impact, being very purposeful and deliberate. And she put something out there in the social space. And the next thing I was responding to it. Yes, we hopped on a phone call. And I mean, it was just like, boom, we are both on the same page. And it was such a dynamic conversation that's led to so much more. But I'm going to go ahead, and this is not the Julie show. I love my guests like you to shine. And so I love everything you say about impact investing, and love to hand that over to you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. For me, just to give, the listeners just a little bit of backstory, I have always been a pretty huge philanthropist. And I've always been one that's sort of behind the scenes, not so much likes to be out in the forefront, but, God had a different plan. And so for me, it was really, to be very honest with you, it was back in 2019, right after my grandmother passed. I had this huge cloud come over me. And I promise you, the day before she passed, I could tell you exactly where I was headed in life for the next 5 years, like boom, 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 boom. And so part of my goals prior to then was, okay, I'm learning about this multi-family investing. I want to build generational wealth. I want to help other people build generational wealth. I want to be able to impact communities. So let me sort of kind of start with everything I'm being taught. And then once I built my foundation, okay, voila, then I'll start focusing more in the affordable housing space and creating more of an impact. But like I said, God had a different plan. And once my grandmother passed and that cloud came over me, I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing the next 5 minutes, right? And so shortly after that, it was insane. It was like I just started getting downloaded and flooded. And God said, no, I don't want you to wait till you've built the foundation. I want you to do them in parallel. Purpose and profits are in collaboration. It's not purpose or profits, it's purpose and profits. And I said, aha. And it was like, it became clearer and clearer and clearer to me by the day. And that's really what got me embarked on this journey. And really where I am today. It's just like, I'm so excited for all the things that we're able to do and kind of get going. But that's a little bit of backstory about how I got started down this lane. And I just think it's really imperative and important for people to understand that you can really make an impact. It's not that you have to go make money and then you donate. You can actually take your money, that is creating wealth for yourself as well as making an impact in parallel. I think that that's super important for people to see and know that it's very well possible and we're doing it now.
And this is a message that is going to become louder and louder. And I love that you said it so clearly. Purpose and profits are not fighting against each other. Purpose and profits are unified. They are one, and we don't have to separate the two of them.
No, no, not at all. They definitely collaborate and they work in parallel with each other. And I think that there's a huge there's a disconnect. And I think it has a lot to do with how we sort of been, how society, and I don't know, we just brought up, it was like, you go to work, you get a good job, you make money, and you go, and then when you have time, you volunteer over here and do this, or if you don't have the time, you spend money and give to this organization. And so what I'm finding is that there's a lot of people who want to have a greater impact, but they're not sure how to go about it. And I'm like, hey, here I am. Here's a way. Here's a way. Here's a way. You know. So I think that that is very, very, very imperative. And for me personally, and a lot of my partners, it just, I had to catch myself because it gets me very emotional because I believe in community and building community. And when you look around, and I just think about the fact that that could be my mom, that could be my grandmother, that could be my father, anyone within our close circle, our loved ones within our close circle that are out here struggling. And it doesn't, and people, there's such this stigma that, oh, when you look at someone, they just didn't do right. That's not the case. It could have been a work accident. It could have been just a freak accident. A lot of Americans in general are literally one accident away from being homeless.
Yeah.
From being homeless. And I think now COVID is one of those things that woke a lot of people up to say, oh, wait, I need to really reevaluate some things. And maybe I'm not as secure as I think I am. And maybe I shouldn't judge that person over on the street who doesn't have a home and think that, oh, they're just alcoholic or they're on drugs and this is what got them there. No, there's a whole back history behind it. So that's very important to me. And for me, impact is not just about helping with my partners and I, we're helping and starting in the affordable housing space, but it's not just about that, right? It's about helping a person holistically from the mindset, financially, as far as health, every single thing. That's what we're doing. We're partnering with local community partners that are helping people in every aspect. And we're learning, we say, hey, we understand the housing piece of it. So let's partner with these other people who have this under wraps. They know how to help with the financial literacy, the money management, credit repair, all these different things that we're bringing to our communities that can help them. We want to bring things such as like yoga and meditation to help with the mindset, right? Education helps to improve people's lives, which creates a win-win for all of us.
It's full circle. And I just want to echo what you said. When I lived in California, I interacted a lot with the homeless population, and I had, this because of our, conversations. But if you actually just buy somebody a cup of coffee or buy them lunch or something and talk with them, as I did, you hear these stories. And so you don't have to take it, firsthand from somebody else. Like if you actually take time to talk with someone, and most of the time, I don't think anyone was ever dishonest with me to the point of I wanted to help this one particular homeless gentleman. Like, well, how can we help you? Like after a long conversation, it, came to, do you want a job?
Yeah.
And he said, no, I don't want a job. I don't want one, so very, very honest, in every regard. So I had the full spectrum of everything. So I encourage people that, if you see someone, that don't put them in a box or in a silo, like engage in that conversation, and you'll be very surprised at the response you get. Oh, I was just like you. Yeah. And I had a ski accident, and then I was taking painkillers, and then wow, look where my life is now. There's so many different reasons, so many stories. I could go on, and you could too.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely could. I just want to piggyback off of that just real quick, because You brought up a really good point. So a few years ago, I started studying photography. I put that to the side for now, but I loved it. Anyways, one of my final projects was I decided to do a black and white shoot on homelessness. And I didn't go and stand on the side of the corner and try to sneak shots. I went up to them, I introduced myself, I let them know who I was. I didn't even let them know that I had a plan of giving them a donation. I just said, this is who I am, I have a project. Would you be willing to participate? I want to get your story. So not only did I take photos, I got their story. And I kid you not, I spoke to the most intelligent people that one matter of fact, one of the guys told me, he said, hey, I won't let anybody just give me money. I believe in working. He said, I was a bodyguard for a lot of high-end celebrities, was crossing the street, got hit by a car. It destroyed me, destroyed my career. And that's how I became homeless. And he would not, I watched him. He didn't even know. I would pull up to that same spot and sit over in a cut and watch him. He would never let anyone give him cash. He'd say, no, I have to work for it. You just never know someone's background. I had another guy who was a scientist and had an accident. We shouldn't judge. Moral of the story.
Moral of the story, preach it. Preach it. So when we think about impact investing, and there are so many different facets, there are so many different ways to execute on impact investing. Your team has done some really phenomenal things and have formed some really instrumental partnerships. And so for people listening, this is a newer conversation for a lot of people to have a framework to talk about, to have a word to say, okay, this is impact investing. Number one, that's a new concept. People might have been thinking, oh, well, I've been, using the value add model. I've been improving communities. That's really, really super great. This isn't what we're talking about. We're saying, let's move up several notches and impact lives in a different way. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and run us through what you and your, an example of what you and your team have been able to produce.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we do is we have a young lady on our team who actually works for an organization that helps to find housing for a lot of homeless, not just veterans. Right now, we're specifically focusing on helping homeless veterans. We want to build a nice solid foundation, and then we're going to expand our niche out just a little bit more because, there's a need everywhere. Especially even also with young adults who are aging out of foster care. I can go on and on about so many different demographics. But what we do is she generally, whatever market we're looking within, she finds those local community partners and gives them a phone call. It's very simple, to be very honest with you. She just gives them a call and say, hey, this is our team. This is what we're looking to do. What we're looking to do is we want to provide housing for those who are homeless. What sort of programs and things like that do you have in place? And we just ask them different questions. And what she does is she sets up a call with us and the team. We get on the call, we talk, introduce ourselves, let them know what our mission is, what we're about, what we're trying to accomplish. We're very humble and letting them know we don't know it all. We're looking to partner with you so that we can band our forces together to help everyone overall. And they are like open arms. They're just like, this is music to my ears. Thank you. We need more landlords like you guys. We want to work. We need help. These are the extra steps we're willing to take so that we can create a very rewarding relationship for everybody. And it's when I say it's literally that simple, that's how the conversation starts. Next thing you know, they're getting you in touch with this person and that person, and it just goes from there. And matter of fact, we just had one of our community partners in one of our markets call us and say, are you guys buying another building yet? Are you buying another building? They're just like, please buy more properties, buy more properties. We have a need, because there's a huge need everywhere. So that's generally at a very high level nutshell how we kind of start our introduction, and relationships just organically formed from there. And the other key thing I feel like that we did is we engage them at the beginning. So even when we're looking at properties, we call them and say, hey, this is a property we're looking at. Is this an area that you like? is this going to be a problem? If you have a resident that's dealing with certain things, is this going to cause more issues for them, right? Is this not going to be conducive to the direction we're trying to get them headed in? And they appreciate that involvement. When we go for the due diligence, they come, they walk the units with us so that they can see, is this suitable? Does this fit their needs? So we literally form relationships, we form partnerships with them and work with them. And it's just, it's been a beautiful thing.
I have goosebumps every time. And I was like, we've had conversations and I've met your team. I'm like, it's so amazing. Now, so let's unpack this for this awesome audience, because now they're hearing us and I know more of the background of this, but when we're talking about those partnerships and what you're doing with those communities, what does that actually look like? Not the partnership itself, but the practical application of helping that resident.
Absolutely. So with our partners that we're working with, to even our surprise initially, they are very hands-on. They're more like case managers in a sense of, if you have a resident who say they've lived at home with mom for their entire lives, they've never been independent and on their own, and now mom may have passed or dad may have passed, and they don't know how to be independent. They don't know what independent living looks like. And so they end up homeless, and they find this organization. And what the organization does is they literally take them on and they say, okay, we're going to help find your housing. We're going to help you with employment, interviewing techniques and skills. We're going to help teach you how to clean, how to cook. It's very, very hands-on for each individual based off of their specific needs. And they also have it to where if it's someone who has like some extreme mental health issues, they don't try to put those people in your properties. They send them to the right places so that they can get the necessary help that they need. So that's one of the myths, is that, oh, you're going to have these people in your property terrorizing and tearing up. No, that's not the case. And if you have an issue with a resident, they work with you and say, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to change this. If there's a problem, they not only will they help get them out and find them new placement, they'll find somebody else to replace them with. So they're extremely hands-on in helping them with every aspect of their lives so that they can progress and become independent and get back into being productive citizens of society. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm like, you already know I love it. Now, here's what I'm hearing, the chatter, and you've heard it, I've heard it, and that is, fellow investors who are like, that's all nice, girls. That's rainbows, unicorns, bunch of glitter. That's not going to give me the profits that I want. Right? We both know. We've been there. We've heard these people say, this can't be done. Everything you're talking about, that's going to tank. I'm not going to have the profits that I want. So let's get specific. Let's get granular on how this is, because someone's saying, oh, well, great. I'm glad that we have an economic vacancy now, right? Because they're looking at this unit and thinking, I'm not getting market rent or this, that. There are a lot of expectations being thrown right now as people are running on the treadmill and driving in the car. So let's clear some of the misconceptions up.
Absolutely.
And I am also going to throw the asterisk. This is how this team, Monica and her team, are working on this. And please bear in mind, just like all of real estate investing, there are so many ways to do this.
Yes, absolutely. This is just how we're starting, and we're even planning to explore and expand other options as well. But as far as when it comes to the numbers, and trust me, I'm a numbers person. I have a finance background.
I was gonna say, you're a numbers girl.
Yes. So for me, it has to also make sense from a finance perspective. So what we're finding is that the numbers actually are really not much different than a general value add. So you may see maybe a % or so difference, and it just depends on how you purchase the property. It's all the same logic, literally. And I mean literally, the only difference is you're working with the organization that's helping to add value to your residents from a holistic standpoint, right? On top of what you're doing, right? Because we're like, my partners and I, what we're looking to do is not just help them from that aspect, but we want to let them know that their landlords care. We're notated their birthdays. We're planning on sending gift cards for their birthdays. We want to have a summer barbecue picnic, bring in a DJ, cater food. We want to create that sense of community once again. So those are some additional pieces that we're budgeting into our numbers. But overall, the numbers, when I say it's not really much of a difference, it's not much of a difference. It's all about working with buying the property at the right price and working with the owners that when you're looking at a property that are selling it, kind of pitching what you're doing and tugging on those heartstrings so that, they work with you and not against you. You know what I mean? So, and when you start doing that and you start networking with these other community partners, and you start becoming a part of, even like I've heard, coming a part of like landlord organizations, your name gets out there. You start talking to these banks, like our bank, they're like, oh yeah, we know that community. Oh yeah, come over. Yeah, we'll help you. I mean, they gave us, and I don't know if it was because they disliked our business model or they liked us or whatever it was, but let's just say that our financing terms are amazing. So it doesn't help. But as far as the numbers are concerned, we're looking pretty good. We're going to do, just imagine the same standards you have. Imagine that in some instances, you may see a few percent difference, like a little bit less. And for us, that is okay because of everything else that we're doing and the impact we're able to have. And for all the other investors that we're talking to, they can care less about, a couple of percent less because of the impact that they're being able to have. They freaking love it. They're like, how can I get more involved? Let me know when you have other properties coming. That's the feedback and stuff that we're getting. And it just makes us so excited to hear that.
It is incredibly exciting. And I've had that same sentiment come back from passive investors. When you can explain to them, hey, your money, it's working in multiple ways. And wow, if they're using infinite money from an infinite bank account, their money's really traveling far.
Right.
But your money is working in a lot of different ways. You are getting the profit that you were looking for. You're getting the returns that you need. And if it's a 0.5% or 1%, that might be a little of reduction, comparatively speaking, really, when you look at the impact that it's having on these residents' lives, now you are doing your philanthropy at the same time. And I love that marriage between the two of these concepts. It's like, I can do two things at once.
Yes. It really makes people feel good. And I tell you, I kid you not, when I put that post out there just to get a filler of people who may be interested, and the amount of feedback that I receive, and I start having these conversations with everyone on an individual basis. And it was like, people are like, this is what I've been trying to figure out how to do this. I want to get involved in any way I possibly can. There's so many people who are like, they just are not sure. And we're just like, hey, we're going for it. We're going to figure this out. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. And we want to put a blueprint in place that people can go and just mimic in their markets that they're most comfortable in. Because honestly, the need is everywhere. Like I've said this many times before, you close your eyes, you point at a map, and there's a need.
Preach it.
It's very simple. And I know also for myself, I have certain things that I'm working on with my partners, but me personally, I'm also taking time aside to learn some other different things that I want to be able to bring and be able to add value to the community. I haven't quite announced it all just yet.
Oh, I was like, okay, come on, give us a spoiler, like a little morsel.
Let's just say that what I'm working on will be a company where people can come almost in a sense of one-stop shop to be able to assist them in all gamuts of life. That's going to create an impact. And I'm not just talking about people who are homeless. I'm talking us, even our everyday folks who have good jobs that are not aware about tools and things that can help set their families up, but also create impact in the community. So those are the things that I'm studying and learning about right now. And, you know, all in the right timing, it's going to all be released. But I'm like super, super, super excited for this. I want to be able to have an impact globally. That is extremely important to me. And I want to challenge others to just think about their impact, even with investors who are not focused on affordable housing. There's still other different ways you can create impact. How about just having free education classes, you know, at your property, or starting like a book club where people recycle books and stuff and reading to get people to think about different things, or bring in a free yoga class or something on, you know, Saturdays or Sundays in the morning or afternoon, whatever that may be, you know, adding value to your community aside from just going in, renovating units and increasing rents. I just want people to think about how they can create an impact at their level. And I'm open. You can reach out to me. I'm willing to help you brainstorm and figure that out.
That's right. And I'll add that adding those type of extras, when you say free, that doesn't mean, okay, dear landlord, you're paying for something necessarily. That's where those partnerships come into play. And where, you know, partnering, like, let's just say, for instance, you want to have yoga classes of some sort. Well, that's where you can have, you know, is there a class of some sort where people are learning and they need to get some hours? Probably not necessarily. Actually, there are some yoga practices where they do need hours of, you know, kind of clinical hours, if you will. And so, like, giving opportunities, space for that.
Yes.
There are a lot of ways to partner up, and it doesn't cost anything more. It just takes a little more thought.
Yeah, a lot of companies have a social impact initiative or umbrella where it's a part of their agenda to get out and provide resources to the community. It's just going to be a matter of tapping in to see what that looks like for them. So say, for instance, you get connected with a local bank, and they have classes that can teach people about how to balance their checkbook and how to open a bank account, like simple things that a lot of people don't know. A lot of folks don't know how to do, right? And
let's face it, most people don't. I want to know, if you are listening right now and you have balanced out your accounts, I just want you to please just like DM me over on LinkedIn, or message me through the Ask Me How I Know podcast at gmail.com, because I want to hear from you. You're a unicorn.
That's totally me. So yeah, those are just some other ways that you can think about how to create impact. Like Julie said, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to find funding out of your own business to go and provide these resources. Although yes, you can consider we have reserve accounts. Let's add to that reserve account so we can plan these additional items out. But there's other resources where you can partner with these other businesses to bring in some of these things. So it's super important. And I'm like, yeah, I think we just got to think a little bit more outside the box.
It is. And so honestly, this is the first time in our conversations where I hear this and I'm thinking, wow, now investors are turning into that portion of the companies that you're talking about, like, because companies larger corporations, they have social impact initiatives, and they're usually very niche. They're very like, this is the heartbeat of our organization, and this is who we want to the type of things we want to partner up with. And so, as an investor, knowing who you want to partner up with. Now, let's talk about something that's a little more sensitive, maybe. I don't want to ruffle people's feathers, but we're causing disruption with impact investing. So might as well, right? Let it all fly. Yep. Let's talk about, a lot of people want to practice philanthropy, and they'll give their money, they'll give a charitable contribution to a nonprofit. And you and I've had a lot of conversations about this, or several, where I don't know where my money's going.
Yeah.
What's really happening with my money? Now, I don't want to discredit any, please hear me on this, everyone. I'm not discrediting nonprofits. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not. I happen to contribute to nonprofits. However, this is a very unique part about impact investing in through real estate. And there are other ways to also impact invest, but
Mm-hmm.
in this case, so let's just talk about that for a sec.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So that's one of the things I love about what we're doing, because as we continue to expand, we're exploring the options of creating like a fund where people come in, they can passively invest. They know who the fund managers are, who the operators are, myself and my partners, and they get to see their money at work, right? And also get an equitable stake. It just creates a win-win for them. One of the things that with some of the conversations I've had, a lot of people said they really like that model a bit better, because there is this like underlying concern, because things have gotten out in the news about what is happening with some of the money that we're, donating, right? Including myself. There have been organizations that I've donated to, and then I went and did some research, and I'm like, oh, this money is not going to where it's supposed to be going. So, I just, took it upon myself to say, well, I won't give to there. But now, any place before I donate, I do my due diligence, because they're required to publish their financials, and I go see how the money's being utilized. It's not just about the cause, it's about how the money is being utilized, and does it align with my goals and where I want to see my money being put to work. So there's a lot of great organizations out there, nonprofit as well as for-profit, but specifically a nonprofit. There's a lot of amazing organizations, but one of the things I love about what we're doing is you get to have a bit more hands-on experience. You can be passive, but you get to see. It's an asset you can touch, you can feel, you can drive by. You can see what's going to work, how your money's being put to work. So that's one of the great things that I found, that a lot of the investors we've been speaking with, they really like this aspect of it, along with all the other benefits that they get, tax benefits and things like that they get. So yeah, it creates a win-win for everyone.
I love win-wins. They make me so happy. Monica, is there anything else that you would say, I really want people to understand this element? There's I mean, y'all, we're just hitting like, this is such high level, high surface level. And I will be having more guests on in the future. And there's a lot that's going to be rolling out here on impact investing over the next few months. But I just want to, give you an opportunity. Any other high level, or if you want to get down into the weeds on an element?
For me, I think what I want to be, the message that I really want to get out is, and right now I'm talking to my other landlords, my other owners in this space, is that because I've heard it multiple times, there's this very negative stigma about affordable housing. And I want people to just dial it back a little bit and just say, like I mentioned earlier, hey, matter of fact, I'll use myself as an example. My mom is now retired, and she lives on a fixed income. And if my mom, thankfully, I'm blessed where I'm able to keep her here with me and I'm able to provide for her. But what if I wasn't here, right? What if my mom was living somewhere for 4-5 years, and all of a sudden her building was bought and turned over to new owners, and now her rent's being hiked up $100, $200, and she can't afford that. Just like that, she becomes homeless. So I just want to challenge people in a way to say, hey, I want you to think about that. Put yourself put yourself in those shoes and say, if this was my mom or my dad, how would I feel? What about your nana and your papa? How would you feel? A lot of people are on very small incomes. And I just think that we as owners, we're the change agents. We can't rely on the government to be the saving grace. We are the change agents. We have to band together and say, you know what? We're not going to allow these properties to be bought at such a high price that the investor has to go in there and increase the rents $200 and $300. We're going to say, no, we're going to create a win-win for each other so that way you can keep rents affordable. You can still modify and renovate the property so that people live in humane conditions and have an actual way of life. And we can provide these other resources. So I'm challenging, I want everyone to start thinking about that. Please, let's work together, because like I said, it could be you and it could be someone close to you. You never know. And it's not that everyone who's on Section 8 or some other form of assistance are bad people. A lot of people are uneducated and just need some assistance. So let's do our part in assisting. Let's not try to push everyone to a little silo and say, well, just put them over there and hope that they figure it out. No, let's work together. Let's bring back this sense of community. And I am your brother. I am my brother's keeper and my sister's keeper. Let's bring that motto back.
Oh, I love it. I love it, Monica. And when we're thinking about this, this concept, it's also a matter of, when I think about just the timing of our heartbeats, and there's definitely a growing movement that you and I know of, people just coming together for impact investing. And we look at what the global economy is looking like and shaping up to be. And this is a time where we are going to need to be linking arms and supporting each other, and putting that infrastructure in place now is protecting people down the road. And that's going to be really, really paramount in just caring for brothers and sisters.
Yes.
We are all, it's humanity. It's like you got to take care of each other.
We have to take care of the same way we have all of our initiatives that talk about our food sources, the environment, which I support all of them. I do finances for a nonprofit where we are all about sustainability. We're all about women and children. I mean, so don't get me wrong. I'm not just focused on affordable housing. I'm about impact globally across all gamuts. They're all very important to me, every last one of them. So I just want to bring more awareness into this arena as well.
I love it. Monica, I love your heart, and I appreciate just your passion and enthusiasm. I am so it's contagious, and it just, it's nice to have that, because we need momentum in this arena. Yeah. And we need the disruption, and we're going to bring it.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
I love it.
Julie.
Oh, Monica, what is the best way? People are listening right now and they're like, Monica, this is it. I want to be part of this. Like, how do they reach out to you? Best place?
Absolutely. So best place to reach me is via my email, which is monica@ascensionacquisitions.com. I'm going to spell that for the listeners. That's ASCENSIONACQUISITIONS.com. And you can also reach me on my cell via 562-354-3819. Text me anytime. We can set up some time to get on the phone and chat. I can talk about this all day and night, so don't be hesitant. Call me.
That's right. And Monica's also over on Clubhouse regularly. So what's your handle over there on the Clubhouse?
My handle, matter of fact, my handle on Clubhouse and on IG is @_impact_investing. Those are
awesome.
My handles. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Monica, thank you so much for coming on Ask Me How I Know.
Thank you for having me.
And to my awesome audience, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you are inspired. I hope that this is thought-provoking, and that this causes you to reevaluate, not necessarily changing your investments unless they're not aligning completely. So a lot of times we are big-hearted and we're philanthropical, but we don't do our due diligence to ensure that everything is being done correctly on the back end. And so just as you would do your due diligence, on an investment, it might be time to just do an audit and to say, hey, where is my money going? Let me just look at where I'm putting it, and is that the best place for it? It's just a good practice in all of life. We do it with cell phone bills. You do with cable, whatever. I don't know. I don't have cable, but we do this in other arenas. It's good to reevaluate everything. Yes. Until next time, awesome audience, please go find your freedom. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Me How I Know. This episode was brought to you by 3 Keys Investments. They are dedicated to helping people like you, you, my awesome listeners, develop passive income and legacy wealth through multifamily investing. Feel free to check out their website, 3keysinvestments.com, to see if there's an offering that will help your portfolio grow and meet all of your needs. If you haven't already rated, reviewed, subscribed, liked, all of those bells and whistles, I would be absolutely honored if you would do that for Ask Me How I Know. Thanks again, and go make it a great day.